We are often told that chronic overspending is a simple failure of willpower, a sign that you lack the discipline to manage a budget. This assumes the consumer is operating in a neutral environment. In reality, the modern digital marketplace is an ecosystem of real-time behavior tracking and machine learning, designed to identify and engage specific human biological vulnerabilities. Research into retail therapy shows shopping serves a functional purpose. Deciding between alternatives restores a sense of personal control, alleviating feelings of anxiety or helplessness. Platforms have integrated this natural coping mechanism into their digital architecture. By using personalization and persuasive cues, they have created algorithmic pleasure architectures that stimulate reward responses to encourage repeated, compulsive behavior. The brain processes desire through two systems: wanting, a dopamine-powered drive, and liking, the pleasure of consumption. Robert Sapolsky's primate research shows dopamine release concentrates in anticipation, spiking at the signal, plateauing during effort, and plummeting upon reward delivery. In online shopping, this means the neurobiological high peaks during the search and comparison and the lead-up to the purchase, rather than the acquisition of the item. The brain's reward system prioritizes wanting the product over the subjective pleasure of owning it. Digital retailers have engineered their storefronts to maximize this gap, stretching out the anticipation phase to monetize the biological drive to pursue a reward. Designers employ dark patterns, like flashing countdown timers or low stock alerts, creating artificial urgency and scarcity. These variable rewards create an unpredictable environment that keeps dopamine levels elevated. This effectively bypasses the prefrontal cortex, the brain's center for impulse control. Even the temporal delay of shipping serves a purpose in this loop. While waiting for a delivery, the mind remains in active anticipation, extending the dopamine window. This combination of unpredictability and delayed gratification creates a continuous feedback loop. The user becomes both the target and the tool of behavioral prediction. The brain has a natural brake pedal called the pain of paying. When we lose financial resources, the anterior insula activates. This is the same region that processes physical pain and disgust. Traditionally, spending involved visceral friction. Handing over physical cash makes the loss of resources salient to the brain, naturally keeping spending in check. The financial industry began bypassing this pain center decades ago by abstracting value. Moving from cash to a piece of plastic decoupled the act of consumption from the immediate feeling of loss. Modern innovations like mobile wallets and one-click checkouts have further refined this anesthetic. By removing the natural friction of a transaction, they make the loss of resources almost imperceptible. Eliminating the pain of paying removes the brain's only biological defense against dopamine-driven impulse buying, leaving the impulse entirely unchecked. When the package finally arrives, the anticipation ends. As the dopamine levels drop, the consumer is often left with a product that fails to provide the emotional relief they were originally seeking. This crash leads to a cycle of post-purchase regret and hedonic adaptation, which frequently results in compounding financial debt and emotional distress. Despite sharing the core components of established behavioral addictions like gambling, these algorithmic shopping environments remain perfectly legal and are not yet recognized by major diagnostic systems. Because regulatory oversight hasn't kept pace with these persuasive design techniques, the responsibility for navigating this marketplace falls entirely on the individual. When you are fighting a system designed to exploit your brainstem, relying on willpower alone is rarely effective. You can survive the loop by substituting the behavior. Curating a digital wish list instead of using a shopping cart allows you to engage the anticipation mechanism without completing the transaction. By introducing a deliberate delay, you can harvest the neurological high of the wanting phase while avoiding the financial consequences of the impulse.